My usage of twang on that spectrum would probably be, but now there's nowhere to hide since you pushed my love aside. I'm out. Right, using it a little bit as
I don't love you, Emily. Like it's 9 a.m. Hey Voxstar, and welcome to From Singer to Artist. I'm Lara Chapman, award-winning singer and songwriter turned viral vocal coach and the host of this show. At VoxTape Studios, we help singers from all over the world level up their voices by teaching them the 3 fundamental skills all singers need: technique, awareness, and artistry. Whether you're looking to go pro or just develop your voice for fun, my team and I are here to help. Check the link in the description to book your first session or grab some of our other resources. Alrighty, are you ready? Let's get started. If you've been singing for a little bit, you might have heard the term twang come up, and believe it or not, it's not just used in country music, it's used in all different kinds of styles, maybe not opera. But to talk about twang, I have the twang queen in the house today. Welcome, Coach Emily.
Hey!
You are like the best mixer I have ever heard in my entire life.
Well, that's very kind. Thank
and
you.
to help you get that power, you use a bunch of twang in your sound a little bit.
You put acoustics on your side.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes, be smart about it. Don't work so hard. Exactly. And that's where twang comes in. So today we're going to talk about what is twang? Why do we use twang? When should you use twang? Oh, that stuff.
Yeah, that seems like it.
I think that's pretty much it. So,
How to use twang?
yeah, how do you use twang? Yeah, how do you do it? When do you use it? And what is it? So let's start with what is it? Can we get a little bit of a demonstration between no twang and twang?
Yeah, so it's this thing called AES narrowing, area epiglottic sphincter, above your larynx. It narrows a little bit. Yeah. We have the back of your mouth is a little smaller, not because of your tongue. Hello. But it's a little smaller because we have a neutral to lower, usually a lowered soft palate and a raised larynx. So a non-twangy note is hey. A twangy note is hey.
Yes.
Right? And I went a little extra on the twang there, but just to kind of give you a taste of what it is in full effect.
Well, and that's the cool thing about twang. It's not all or nothing.
Yeah.
It's a spectrum.
Yeah.
And then you use however much you need to get the sound that you want and the power that you want. Because twang automatically is going to make everything sound a lot brighter.
Yes.
And therefore it is perceived more powerful and louder.
And that's that you have resonators in your mouth and you have them in your ear canal. So it's that twang resonates at similar frequencies to a baby cry. And then that hits your ear and our body's like, huh.
Yes, baby needs help.
Baby needs help, right? So we hear it as louder, we hear it as stronger, absolutely.
And so with twang, I guess we want to, because we don't want to overdo it, obviously, right? And so it's like, okay, we got to learn how to do it, but then we also have to learn how not to do it. So you said it is a narrowing of the sphincter.
Area epiglottic sphincter.
That's what's the APS or what's the AES?
Area epiglottic sphincter.
Area epiglottic sphincter.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right? Cool.
Yeah.
We're learning something?
Woohoo.
Great. It basically, fancy word for like you're closing off the
Yeah, you're narrowing the vocal tract.
Yes. So the epiglottis, that little flappy flap, so in your throat, when you're swallowing, all the stuff that you're swallowing, your water, your food, whatever, goes over the vocal folds, like not the vocal folds themselves, but like
skips over that pipe.
Skips over the windpipe and goes down the food pipe. And there's a little flappy flap called the epiglottis. And that flappy flap closes when you swallow so that you don't choke. We love it.
Awesome.
So that, because it's area epiglottic.
Yeah, so it's above that. Yeah.
So the flappy flap, is that flappy flap involved?
It's above. So it's just telling us where it is.
Okay, so the narrowing happens below the flappy flap?
Above.
The narrowing happens above the flappy flap.
Yeah, because that's technically now we're in your pharynx.
Okay, this is a question for you, and If that is not true, I have been spreading misinformation.
Let's see.
Let's see. Because Emily is our science girl. So what I have been taught, and all the research that I have done on my own too, is the flappy flap.
Yep.
Kind of angle. It's not fully open, and it's definitely also not closed.
Yeah, but
it's kind of like angled a little bit. That gets you that bright sound. Is that
so? I can't say that that's
wrong?
Not true. We gotta fact check that one because that sounds like it makes sense to me. Sounds like it makes sense to me.
Because I guess when you're narrowing, it kind of like gets pushed.
Yeah,
down a little.
It hasn't come across my desk, but I can't say that that's not the case.
Okay,
that's not part of it.
So maybe I have not been spreading misinformation.
Yeah. Let's say you haven't. Let's rock and say you haven't.
Either way, it's a narrowing.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So it's a narrowing. Something I have learned for my own, like in my own vocal journey, more recently, like the last year or two, is when the larynx is higher in your vocal tract, everything gets just like a little tighter and it's easier to do twangy stuff when the larynx is higher than when the larynx is like all the way down.
Well, it has to be higher in order to resonate that way. Yeah.
So that means if you have a super bright tone and you don't love it and you would like to make it a little bit less bright, work on dropping your larynx. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So work on dropping your larynx. How do we drop the larynx?
Through a yawn. Big yawn. Yeah. And if you don't want to be over here, think about just lowering it, keeping it on the lower half of your mouth. It's imagery. It's not science.
It makes me yawn. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. You yawn and then I yawn and then it goes on.
Oh, yeah. We'll just keep yawning back and forth. And that is something I'm always working on in my own voice lessons too. And then I keep yawning for the next 30 minutes and it's fine. It is what it is. But yeah, so just dropping that larynx and just feeling that space open up in your throat, essentially.
Yeah. Right? It's a great way to describe the sensation. Like that's what we're doing. We're creating more space down.
Yes. So if you're feeling too, or like you're sounding too bright and you don't love it, you want to make it a little darker, do that. And then here's the thing though, when we're belting high or mix belting high,
we need brightness.
To
make our mix sound like a mix.
And to get the power, right?
Yes.
To sound powerful.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't do that and you're powerful, you're probably yelling.
Yeah.
And we don't want that either. Girl, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Okay? I'm a recovering screamer. And so now it's just a matter of figuring out how much brightness do we want, because it can also be too much, and then it sounds a little like a caricature, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. I think I always push it to the extreme in exercises and then pull it back. So one laryngeal flexibility exercise I do all the time is E to O. So I do a really bright E, really twangy. And if you're having a hard time getting into the sound, think of wah, wah, baby cry. Wah, wah, yeah, that, or like a witch cackle. Yeah. And now you're really in the extreme of twang. Yeah. And it sounds like a cartoon character.
Did you hear that cry? Yeah. Stunning, babes.
Oh,
stunning.
Beautiful, absolutely. Yeah, but that's the extreme of twang. So I go from the extreme of twang to the extreme of a low larynx. So I'll go.
Oh, sorry, that makes me yawn.
And take you right to yawn land.
Yes. So, okay. Is there a way you can do that without also changing the mouth shape?
Yeah. So, yes, but let me explain for a second.
Yes.
The mouth shape helps lean you in those directions.
Yes.
So that's why the mouth shape I typically do as part of it, but we absolutely can. Let's do it all in an ah. I think I probably opened my mouth a hair, but...
Oh, and I saw your tongue going down.
And that's totally part of it as well. The arched tongue is going to be part of that really bright sound.
Because the tongue is connected to your larynx through the bone, the hyoid bone.
Yeah.
And so would you say that, like lifting the larynx kind of like lifting the tongue in the back pulls your larynx up a little bit, or not necessarily?
I wouldn't say necessarily, but it will help.
Okay.
It will help acoustically with those sounds. That's also a good point when it comes to tongue tension. I think of them, it's not magnets in terms of science, but it's magnets in terms of when your tongue gets really tight at the root, it can pull up the larynx.
Yeah.
And that's where you run into, I find often that's where you're running into laryngeal tension. So stretch your tongue out first and then do some sort of like larynx lower while you have your tongue out. Of course, it's going to be a little higher because you're sticking the tongue out. Because of that, what you just said. But
so would it be helpful to work on releasing tongue tension, like at the root, like the root of the tongue, to get less twangy?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I would say so, because another thing that happens is our bodies will try to make the sound without making the sound, without actually just doing it. So if I want, let's say I am dealing with a lot of tongue tension, a lot of, just tension in general, and my sound is really here and it's kind of pressed and it's a little bright. Yeah. Right? But I want to warm up my tone. So instead, I'm just going to pull my tongue back a little bit. I'm going to get a naturally lower tone. So instead of, but now there's nowhere to hide, I'm going to pull the tongue back to, but now there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
Right? It is just as pressed. It is just as tight, but I pulled the tongue back to alter the tone. So it's my body being like, oh yeah, we'll change the tone without actually adjusting things.
Or you are adjusting things, but maybe not the things that we want to adjust.
Without actually warming your tone, it's manipulating its way into giving you a false warm tone. I'll say a false warm tone because that's probably not the tone you're aiming for.
Yes. Oh, that is a very good point. I love that. With twang.
Yeah.
A lot of times people are like, oh, twang is so nasally.
It's a little, but it's not all in your nose.
No, and I do think it's a misconception.
Absolutely.
That twang is nasally.
Yeah.
You can do them separately.
You could have a low larynx and be really nasally, and you can sound like this, and I'm not really raising my larynx. So that's, that is a great point. It's not, I'm in my nose. If you feel vibrations in your nose, that does not mean you're resonating in your nose.
Oh my God, I just had an intro lesson with somebody earlier this week where it was exactly that. She's like, I feel so nasally. And then she sang, and I'm like, you don't sound nasally at all. Yeah. What is going on? And then it was just like, she's just feeling the vibrations here in her quote unquote mask. A lot of people say, right? Like in your sinuses here.
What the people say, yeah.
So I don't usually use that term, but either way, like just like feeling it up here in your cheekies, right? Yeah. Cheeks and the nose. And it was just something that she felt, like the vibrations that she felt, and it wasn't sounding nasally at all.
Vibrations
so interesting.
Are an amazing cue for you to know when I make that sound and it vibrates here, it does exactly what I want. Mm-hmm. Not everyone feels vibrations in general. Some people just don't really feel them. Mm-hmm. Some people feel really strong vibrations in their chest. Some people feel it in their unicorn horn. Yeah. I've heard that a million times. Like some people feel it in their mask. Yeah. It doesn't mean you're doing it right or wrong depending on where you're feeling your vibrations. Mm-hmm. Often certain things will vibrate in similar places for people. Like brightness tends to you tend to feel it in your face sometimes. Yeah. I'm not really a vibrations person.
Me either.
I like vibrations when it comes to centering myself. I have a breathing exercise that always ends on a big exhale and a hum I say hum on a note that makes your chest vibrate and put your hand on your chest. So it's not about actually making yourself vibrate, but just that you just kind of get in tune with yourself, and it's really great for being like, I'm in my body, I'm chill. And
I feel way more vibrations when I go lower.
Yeah. And then mine was low for me. I was like, that's my I'm in chest voice now.
Okay, fair. But that's like the top range of my chest voice. No, not really, but
I love, this can be cut, but we should, it would be so cool to do an episode of a head dominant singer and a chest dominant singer sing the same song.
Oh my God. Yes, we totally should. Yeah. We totally should do that.
Anyway.
Going back to nasality.
Yes.
Could you demonstrate twang with nasality and twang without so we can hear
with
the difference?
Extra?
Yeah.
So we are having that lowered soft palate, so we are using the nasal port as a space of resonance, but we're not using it as our sole space of resonance.
Yeah.
So let's see, twang with, I'll just keep using hopelessly devoted. So without. But now there's nowhere to hide since you pushed my love aside. Wow. With would be. But now there's nowhere to hide since you pushed my love aside. It's actually a little harder to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not resonating as much where I would like to be.
Yes.
And I have to, well, that was also, I was like, get down, Mr. Soft Palate.
Yeah,
because mine likes to lift.
Yeah. Okay, very cool. So again, it doesn't need to be nasally.
No, it doesn't. And my ideal as a singer tone for that wouldn't be probably any of the tones I've demonstrated on that song so far.
Yeah.
Right? Like my usage of twang on that spectrum would probably be, but now there's nowhere to hide since you pushed my love aside. I'm out. Right? Using it a little bit as a
I don't love you, Emily. Like it's 9 a.m. and you're just like, it's fine.
It's
whatever.
when you decide that's the song you're going to sing at 13 years old because you saw Olivia Newton-John do it. And then you're like, I'm going to do this all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, getting into practice, like be like, I'm going to sing this. I'm going to sing this. I'm going to sing this.
Yeah.
And then you eventually get it where you like it. And then a couple of years later.
But that sounded really well balanced, right? Like when you were demonstrating twang with and without like excess nasality, it was like, okay, so it's super bright. Like it's very powerful, super bright. This was still twang.
Yes.
But it wasn't 100% of twang.
It was still, and that's why sometimes I won't even use the word twang when I'm talking about brightness. It depends, because some people really resonate with it. And some, I mean, vocal terminology is so whatever works for you.
Yeah.
But yes, like I think of that in terms of like, I'm going to take my neutral tone and add a little brightness instead of I'm going to take twang and crank it down.
Yeah.
But something else I did is that push my love aside, I'm like keeping that, leaning into the twang a little bit. And then you have the opportunity on out to neutralize. So push my love aside, I'm out of my head.
Yeah.
Right. And now, oh my God, why? She's chest belting. Like, no, I fooled you. I tricked you.
Yes, you are not. You're in mixed land all the way, baby.
Yeah. It's
very cool.
You know, it's based on what you have around it as well.
Yeah. So basically what it comes down to is controlling how much twang you're using on the note or how much brightness you're using on the note that you're singing. So I like to do like a twangometer exercise is what I call it, where it's just like, and you can like use your lips more to
to really get into it.
Like a little scrunchy face, right? But yeah, just like, you know, kind of like dimming the lights.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's kind of what you're doing. It's just kind of like no twang, and everything in between.
Everything in between is, I think, my favorite part of exercises like that. Because that's why I think it's super important to do something like this and push it to your extreme on either end. Go to full no twang to really, really twangy.
Yeah.
Because when you really take your time on that spectrum, you'll hit every little thing in between. And then Dream On is here. Closer to there.
Yeah.
Hopelessly Devoted is a little closer to here. Yeah. Lady Gaga's a little closer to here.
Yeah. She's much darker in tone.
Exactly. So yeah, that it's going through that whole spectrum, I think, is more important than nailing twang every time because then you run out of options to use.
Yeah. I love that. We have a little exercise for you to practice your twangy twangs besides the twangometer, right? Do this twangometer and just play around. Like you pick any note and just go from right? Just imitate that. You don't even really need to know what happens. You can just hear the sound and imitate the sound.
Yeah, close your eyes and just get an internal sense of like, what do I notice in my body.
Yeah.
When I go back and forth from these sounds.
Yeah. And I just did it really fast.
Yeah.
Slow it down. Okay. Slow it all the way down.
Slow it to the point where I always say go boring level slow.
Yes.
Go till you're like, am I even moving?
Yes. Yes. No,
Then
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I love that. And besides that, if you wanted to do like a little bit more of a fun exercise, a little pop song exercise, we've got one for you.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like a woman. So if you want to do this exercise, we can actually do it together right now.
Woo-hoo.
In this exercise, we're kind of all over the board a little bit. We're doing no twang. We're doing all the twang. We're doing the in between the twang. So again, this is not just like do all the twang all the time, but more like, alrighty, let's already play around with this. So if you're completely new to twang, it might not be the most beginner-friendly exercise. Not gonna lie. Start with this twangometer stuff. And once you're like, all right, I'm getting the hang of this twangometer stuff, do this, man, I feel like a woman pop song exercise with us right now. Let's do it. Start with a lot of twang. Decrease, increase. Good. Love it. Alrighty. Very well done. Keep practicing your twangs. And again, it's a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
That's the most important part about it. Anything else we need to cover about twang or brightness in your sound in general?
Don't knock it because everyone's using it. I've worked with some people who are like, I just don't want that brightness and I want to sound like Lady Gaga. Yeah. And then we listen to Lady Gaga and she's going, the Arizona sky.
She is doing it too.
And she has the brightness. And she just, has a little roughness around the edges.
Yeah.
So don't knock it. I'm not saying be fully bright, twangy all the time, right? You want to have dynamic and dimension in your voice, but set yourself up for success. Give yourself a little bright. Oh, that's a great one. A little brightness before you have that big note. And then so you stay there. Don't worry about going, but no, there's nowhere to hide. That does not, we're not looking for that. We're looking for
even.
But now there's no.
It's so much easier when there's less changes happening in a phrase.
Exactly.
Keep it, make your life simple.
Yes.
and
it's
keep
okay
it
for it to be easy. It's okay for it to be easy. Twang might feel too easy. Twang might feel like you're faking it because it's too easy. No, we are just getting things on your side.
Yes.
You don't need to fight your way to a song.
Yes.
Like you threw it.
No, 100%. And also, I'll say this too. Isolated, like when you're practicing just like one note over and over and over again, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is so bright. But when you are then putting it into context, it actually works really well. Yeah. So don't be worried.
Yeah.
Don't be worried
also,
about it.
I demonstrated a mixed belt.
Yeah.
If you're not there in general, twang can help you.
Like me.
Brightness and twang can help you get there. Like you want to use these tools to help you get there. But if you're not, if that feels like a huge stretch for you, it does not have to be this song. Do it in your head voice. Do it in your middle head voice and do it in your middle to low chest, like comfortable chest voice. Yeah. Start if you're gonna add these cool things. do it where you already know you can phonate properly, I'll say, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Without like forcers. Like,
yeah, exactly. Where you're comfortable.
Yes.
Then add it in there. Don't be like, I need to learn twang and mixed belt in the same note at the same time. Yeah. Because what does that work on any other thing ever?
Yeah. One step at a time. And like Emily said, that needs to be another t-shirt. It's okay for it to be easy.
It's okay for it to be easy. Yeah. Oh my God. It does not make you a fake singer if it feels easy.
No, it's actually a good sign.
That's
a very good sign.
It should be publicly devoted. Like earlier when I was like, it's hard to add in the extra nasality.
Yeah.
Like, that's the part that's making it harder.
Yeah.
Being out of balance.
Yes.
That's the challenge.
Yes.
That's the obstacle, I'll say.
Yeah. I love it.
Cool.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
And thank you for the wonderful demonstrations. I wish I could, but know your limits. Anyways, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Hope this was helpful. And if you want to work with us, you know where to go to book a session. We'd love to help you with your voice, whether that's twang or mixed belting or literally anything else. Maybe not anything, but
lots of other things.
Just
tell us what you want to do and we'll figure it out from there.
Exactly. Let's do that. Let's do that. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Awesome.
Bye.